Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn how to use basic terminal commands. Basic but very important and very useful macOS terminal commands. Let's get started by opening the terminal. So you can navigate to your application folder and look for your program, or you can press Command spacebar to open the Spotlight search and then type in terminal. And I can start by typing the very first command, which is pwd, path to working directory. And I see here it prints out the full path to my current working directory, which is users, Khalid, and then desktop. So pwd is very useful if you want to know the path to your current directory. Next, we're gonna create a new directory. So we start by typing mkdir, make directory. So basically we're going to make a new directory and we're going to give it a name. And we're going to name ours tutorial. So we created our first directory. Now we're going to change directory and move to our newly created directory. And we're going to type in cd for change directory and then the directory name that we want to move to. And for our case, it's tutorial. So now we are in the tutorial directory. We type in pwd and you can see the new path. So now we are inside a new directory. So we're going to create some files and some folders. To create a file, we type in touch, T-O-U-C-H, and then the file name. So let's name this one file 1. We can create multiple files at once. So if you want to create just one file, so we type in touch and then the file name. If you want to create more than one, so we just do space and then another one. So let's create two more. So touch file2.txt space file3.txt. Now we create all 3 files. Let's create a directory. We've seen how to do it. So mkdir. And we'll name it test directory. So test dir. Perfect. So we've created 3 files and 1 directory. Now we're gonna list everything inside our tutorial directory. So we type in ls for list. Perfect. So you see how it prints all 4 items in our directory, files and directories inside our in the terminal. So we can type in ls-l for list. It prints them as a list, but there's an extra information here. And on the far left, you'll see like the permissions for our files and directory. And then, so let's create another file. But this time we're going to create a hidden file. And a hidden file is a file that usually it's not visible. And those files are useful to store like some sensitive information that we don't want to be exposed to other people using our computer, so they won't delete it by accident. So, and the way to create a hidden file, you always precede it by a dot. So you do touch to create a hidden file, and then so dot, and then a name of a file. So this one we're gonna just name it hidden file.txt, just for the illustration here. So we create it. So we type in ls, but wait a minute, we cannot see our hidden files. To list our hidden files, so we pass in a flag or an argument -a for all. And now we can see. So with 1 dot is a hidden file, 2 dots is a hidden directory, right? So now we can see our hidden files. So ls-a. So the next command is how to remove a file and how to remove a directory. To remove a file or a directory, we just use the rm command for remove, and then we type in the file name. Let's remove file number 2. And let's do list. Now we have file 1, file 3, and then the test directory. Let's try to remove the directory. So we use rm and then test directory. And it won't let us remove it because it's a directory. To remove the directory, we pass in an argument to rm. So we do rm-r and then the name of the directory. And now type in ls to list, and now we don't have the directory. Okay, so the next command is, let's copy a file, and before that, let's open a file. And to open a file or a program, you use the open command. So in our case, we're gonna type in open, and I wanna open a file that I created on my desktop, so which is a parent directory to our tutorial directory, right? So if we type in here the pwd, you see that tutorial directory is preceded by the desktop directory. So from tutorial directory perspective, the desktop is the parent directory, and then from the desktop directory perspective, the tutorial is a parent directory, is a child directory, right? So since our path to working directory is tutorial, so desktop is a parent directory. So I type in open, and then I think it's called file. File with text, perfect. So I'm gonna open that, perfect. And I'm gonna copy the content and close it. And then I'm gonna open file one. Yeah, file one. So I can do, if I'm working from this directory, I do open and then the file name, or I can do dot forward slash, which is dot forward slash is basically current directory. So the dot refers to the current directory, two dots refers to the parent directory, right? So I don't need that. So I do open this text, this file1.txt, and I'll copy. I'll paste the text that I copied from the other one and save it. Right. So now I want to copy file one into another file. So I'll type in cp for copy file one, and I'll name this one file one copy.txt. Sorry. .txt. I'm gonna list. Now we have a copy of the file one, which is file one copy, right? And both files, they contain the same data, right? So I want to see what's the content of file one or any file. So I type in cat file one.txt. So cat prints the content of any file. And I'm gonna do the same thing with copy. What did we name the other one? File one copy, okay. File one underscore copy.txt. See, we made a copy of file one.txt, and they both contain the same thing. Now let's remove file one copy, right? It's gone. We don't need the -r because that's only for folders or directories. And then I want to clear my screen, right? I want to start fresh. I want to make it look nicer. So what I can do, I can press Command and K to clear it. Or if I want to clear the last command that I entered, I press Command L. So I'm gonna press Command L, and it's gonna delete the last command I entered. I'll do it again, Command L. If I do Command K, it clears everything. Or you can type in clear, up to you. Clear or Command K, they'll do the exact same thing. Perfect. So I'm gonna list again and see what we have. Perfect. So the next one, I want to rename my file one. How should I go about it? Well, the way to do it is you basically move it into a new file. That's what you're doing. You're not copying it, you're just moving it into a new file. Let's do that. So v file one, and we're gonna give it a new name. we'll do file1 new name.txt, right? And ls. Well, now we no longer have the file1.txt, we have the file1 underscore new name. Now, you can only do that if you are within the same directory. But if you want to move it into a new directory, it's gonna keep a name, right? It's gonna keep its name. So if I create like a new directory, for instance, right now, and I want to move the file into the new directory, it's gonna keep its name. But if I want to change the name, this is how we're gonna do it. So let's make a new directory real quick. So test, we just name it test. So test is a directory. I want to move file1 new name.txt into the test, but I want to also give it a new name. So how do I do it? So I'm going to move it. Move what? So we're going to move file1 new name.txt to test folder, but also I want to give it a new name. So we're going to what are we going to name it? We're going to give it new name 2. Very creative. New name 2.txt. So what's gonna happen here? It will be no longer the file1 underscore new name.txt. It will be no longer in this path. It will be inside this folder with its new name. Hit enter. ls. See, it's not in there. Now we're gonna list what's inside the test directory. So ls and then the directory name. And now we have the file1 underscore new name 2. Okay, now we're gonna remove that test directory because no longer needed. Remember, rm-r. Now it's gone. So we have file 3. So let me open okay. So I want to open this one real quick so we can copy the text, right? And I want to open file 3, save, perfect. Right, so I'm gonna cut file 3 and we see what's in it. Now, say I want to see the first few lines of a file. So basically we use the command head -n for number, and then we give it the number of lines we want it to return. 1, 2, 3, or whatever. So we'll pass in 3 here, and then obviously we're gonna do the file name, right? So the command, the head, which is the top, the beginning of a file, number of lines, that's -n, and then the actual number, and then the file name. And it's gonna print line 1, 2, and 3. If I want to see the last 3 lines of a file, we're gonna use tail. So head and tail. So tail -n, and I'll put in 3, and then the file name. And you have it. So the head prints the first 3, the tail prints the last 3 lines. So we saw how opens a file, right? The open command. Let's do it again. Open file1, file3.txt. It opens up a file. But we can also open an application with this command. So we do open -a for application, and then the application name. And I have an application, a web browser called Opera. I want to open that up from the terminal. Give it a second. Boom. There you go. And you can open any other program, not just web browser, any other program in your computer using the open command and then -a. If you just want to open a file, you don't need to pass in any flags. You just use the open command and then the path to the file. Perfect. Now say you want to see, I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna press Command and K or type in clear, either one. So I'm gonna do Command K. I'm gonna clear. But then I wanna see a list of all the commands that I have entered. So I type in history, and it will print out all the commands that I've entered, right? So that's another useful. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any question, leave them in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It will really, really encourage us and will help this channel grow. Until the next video, thanks for watching and you take care.